3 years ago, an accident stole my legs, my independence, and almost my will to live. Yet it presented him to me in a manner I had never anticipated. To begin with, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to my amazing subscribers. Your support enables me to weave narratives that explore the intricate, unrefined facets of existence. This situation is rather intricate. Stay close to me. The physician remarked that I had a stroke of fortune. Fortune smiled upon me as the semi-truck narrowly missed crushing me entirely. Fortunate that my spine remained intact. Fortunate it was that my son Jaden was not in the car with me that night. Fortunate, they remarked. A humorous term for a woman who struggles to take more than 10 steps without her legs protesting loudly. Our quaint Ohio home once seemed overwhelmingly spacious during the hours Jaden was away at school. At this moment it seems rather confined. He seems to be omnipresent, preparing meals, rearranging my pillows, and lifting me into the shower when my strength wanes. My son, my companion. Because that's the reality no one prepares you for when you become a parent at 16. Eventually they reach adulthood. Truly elevated. Jaden had always possessed height, yet at 19, he has taken on a robust stature. His hands bear the marks of labor, roughened by the demands of construction work. His voice resonates with a profound depth, mirrored in the intensity of his gaze. His eyes, a mirror of his father's, held a depth that spoke volumes. The one who abandoned me the moment the pregnancy test revealed its truth. Mother. I leap. Jaden lingers in the doorway, cradling a bowl of steaming soup. You skipped lunch. Hunger eluded me. You are never truly present. He places the bowl on my nightstand, a frown etched across his face. Your legs protested today. I remain silent. He is aware. He possesses an uncanny awareness. He takes a seat on the edge of my bed, uninvited, and begins to roll up my sweatpants. My breath catches in my throat. The scars mar the surface, a tapestry of twisted skin and jagged lines etched by the hand of surgery. Jay's fingers linger in the air. May I? I incline my head in acknowledgement. The initial contact is precise, working the taut muscles encircling my knee. Yet, his thumb discovers a knot close to my inner thigh. And I press my lips together, a subtle gesture of restraint. You seem tense, he whispers softly. Your understanding is far from complete. With meticulous attention, he arranged my blanket, ensuring my comfort was paramount. His touch was imbued with tenderness, just the right amount to stir my senses, igniting a thrill within me. It's merely the warmth of his skin, I remind myself. The sweet release as the pain dissipates. Yet, as his fingertips graze the hem of my shorts, my breath catches in my throat. Jaden halts as well. For a single heartbeat too. Neither of us stirs. He clears his throat, a subtle gesture, and gently tugs at my pant leg, pulling it down. Is it improved? No. Indeed. Thank you, darling. He hesitates, as if there is more he longs to express. Instead, he picks up the soup bowl and departs. I gaze at the ceiling, revisiting those fleeting moments when his touch nearly ventured beyond its bounds. For the first time in years, I experience a sensation beyond pain, a thrill that feels perilous. The second time his fingers brushed against my skin, I realized it transcended the mere sensation of my legs. The morning light poured through the curtains, overly bright and exuberant, clashing with the tempest brewing within my mind. Sleep had eluded me. With each flutter of my eyelids, the sensation of Jaden's hands lingered on my skin. A warm callus remains lingering in the air. I reassured myself that it was insignificant. A son assisting his mother. A guardian soothing suffering. Yet, the sensation of my skin igniting beneath his touch transcended mere pain. The soft creak of Jaden's door echoing down the hall jolted me back to the present moment. I swiftly draped the blanket across my lap, as though he could perceive the whirlwind of thoughts swirling in my mind. Echoes of footsteps. Then his silhouette loomed in my entrance. You're up early, he remarked, his voice gravelly with the remnants of slumber. He stood bare-chested, sweatpants hanging low on his hips. A tattoo winding its way over his ribs. A decision made last year without my knowledge. I wrenched my gaze from the scene before me. Rest eluded me. Once more Lex. No you. I inclined my head in agreement. Jaden let out a weary sigh and entered, taking a seat beside me just as he had done the previous night. He lifted the blanket without a word, his hands resting on my bare calf. I recoiled. "Apologies," he murmured. My hands were cold, yet it wasn't the chill in the air that caused the tension within me. His fingers pressed into my skin with a slow, deliberate touch, as if he were committing the contours of my being to memory. "You're tight. Everywhere," he murmured. I took a deep breath. Last night, I could feign that it was merely an accident. Yet now, under the bright light of day, it was undeniable how he skillfully worked to ease the tension in my muscles, concentrating solely on alleviating the discomfort. How his hand glided along the curve of my thigh. "Jaden, take a moment to unwind." His voice resonated with an unexpected depth. "It is essential to find a moment of calm. Allow your body to find its peace." I wasn't resisting the massage. I found myself in a struggle against this. How my body responded to him. The moment my breath caught as his fingertips brushed against the hem of my shorts. A shiver ran through me as I felt his gaze upon me, my stomach tightening in response. Not in the way a son gazes at his mother, but rather how a man regards a woman. The sound of my knock at the front door fractured the stillness of the moment. Jaden recoiled. "Are you anticipating a visitor?" "No." He rose, his muscles taut and defined as he extended his limbs. "I shall take care of it." I released a shaky breath, my skin still alive with the sensation of his touch. Whispers floated in from the living room. Mrs. Whitmore, our inquisitive neighbor, inquired if we required anything from the store. A courteous decline from Jaden, the door gently shutting behind him. Upon his return, his expression remained a mystery, shrouded in ambiguity. "Do you think she has an inkling?" he inquired. My heart ceased to beat. What is it that they suspect? He wore a sly smile. "That we have yet to reimburse her for the casserole dish she graciously provided last month." I managed a laugh, though my hands shook, as for a fleeting moment, I believed he was referring to us. That night, rain lashed against the windows. The tempest extinguished the light, shrouding the home in an enveloping gloom. Jaden ignited the candles, their dancing light casting shadows that played across his features. He settled next to me on the couch, so near that I could sense the warmth emanating from him. "Are you cold?" he inquired. Not a deceiver. He gently laid a blanket over us regardless. Our legs grazed softly beneath it. Neither of us made a move to depart. The wind lingered beyond the threshold. A tree branch clawed at the roof, reminiscent of fingernails on a chalkboard. In that moment, his hand brushed against mine. Neither a mere coincidence nor a fleeting caress. His fingers intertwined with mine, strong and confident. I ought to have distanced myself. I did not. In the flickering candlelight, his eyes appeared as dark as night. A caution, an inquiry, a heartfelt request. The electricity surged back to life with an abrupt hum, illuminating the room in a brilliant glow. We recoiled as if scorched by an unseen flame. Yet the connection between us remained, unbroken. Just one kiss, and in that fleeting moment, we were shattered and reshaped into a version of ourselves we never anticipated. The blackout transformed everything. For 3 days following that night on the couch, Jaden and I navigated our space like two unfamiliar souls. Courteous, cautious, yearning. His gaze lingered on my lips as I spoke. His hands hesitated as he assisted me to my feet. Once, I turned too quickly and discovered him breathing in the fragrance of my hair where it had grazed his shoulder. We were a smoldering spark, poised for the inevitable detonation. It transpired on a Tuesday. Jaden had just returned home from work, his body carrying the scent of sweat mingled with the warmth of summer. He discarded his boots, the fabric of his white t-shirt adhering to his chest, marked by the sweat that had soaked through. "Are you all right?" he inquired, his gaze lingering on my rigid form slumped on the couch. "Merely aching." I conjured a smile. The day stretched on endlessly. Silently. He approached and gently placed my legs across his lap. My breath hitched as his fingers pressed into my calf. "Your efforts are commendable, but perhaps you should consider taking a step back," he whispered under his breath. "Proclaims the lad who single-handedly reconstructed our porch ramp when the insurance turned a blind eye. The gentleman who lifted me up to my sanctuary each evening, as my chamber resided on the second level." His thumb dug into a knot near my knee, and I stifled a moan. His voice carried a rugged quality. Allow me the privilege of looking after you. Yet this was not care. This was desired. I noticed it in the way his jaw clenched as my skirt slipped higher. Sensed the quiver in his fingertips as they ascended with purpose. As his hand inched towards my thigh, I seized his wrist firmly. We stood still. His pulse throbbed beneath my fingertips. Then instruct me to cease. A formidable challenge. A heartfelt request. I ought to have expressed it. I ought to have pushed him aside, sought the counsel of a therapist, and acted as if this moment had never transpired, yet I chose not to. I was unable to. I released my grip on his wrist. His kiss lacked tenderness. It was a blaze of passion and the rawness of teeth, a culmination of 19 years of emotions finally breaking free through the gentle embrace of understanding and care. His hands clenched in my hair, pulling me closer to him. Oh, we exchanged a tender embrace. Overcome by a profound sense of gratitude and the instinct to survive, it felt as though this was the sole rhythm of our existence, the only way we understood how to draw breath. I inhaled sharply, my fingers sinking into his shoulders. It is not possible for us. We are already here. He grazed my lower lip with his teeth, a jolt of electricity coursing through me, igniting a fire deep within. Do you sense that? We are that. And may the heavens assist me. I certainly felt it. The firm pressure of his body against my hip. My body arched towards him, reminiscent of a flower reaching for the sun. This was incorrect. That is utterly misguided. Yet, as his tongue brushed against mine, my only thought was for more. We never quite reached the bedroom. Jaden pressed me firmly against the couch. His hips pressed against me as I tugged at his shirt. The fabric ripped at the collar, yet neither of us seemed to mind. Gaze upon me. He emitted a low growl. The moment I acted upon what I witnessed, it left me utterly broken. There was something deeper than mere desire reflected in his gaze. It was love, pure and undeniable. The sort that shatters bones. The sort that etches itself into memory. In the stillness that followed as we lay entwined, the weight of reality began to seep in. Jaden drew languid circles on my exposed shoulder. Are you all right? Negative. Indeed. He was aware of my deception just as I was aware of his lack of remorse. When he finally spoke again, his voice was so soft that I nearly overlooked it. I have desired you since I was 15. A chill ran through me, for it signified that this was no mere accident. It was bound to happen. Certain silences resonate more profoundly than spoken language. The morning arrived, piercingly bright and unyieldingly sharp. I rose before Jaden did. The burden of our actions bore down on me, tangible and heavy. The sheets retained his scent, a blend of sweat, sawdust, and an essence that was undeniably masculine. My son, my source of strength. The individual who remained steadfast by my side when all others turned away. What have we done, oh God? He discovered me in the kitchen, lost in thought as I gazed vacantly at the coffee maker. Greetings, he murmured, his voice thick with the remnants of sleep. My gaze refused to meet his. She found it unbearable to witness the softness reflected in his gaze. Of the softness that was never meant to exist. Mom placed a hand on my shoulder. Cozy. Well known. Incorrect. I recoiled. The pain that momentarily crossed his features pierced more profoundly than the sharpest blade. We drifted through the day, circling one another like celestial bodies in a vast expanse. His attempts to capture my attention. His fingers grazed mine each time he handed me something. I am withdrawing, erecting barriers with each silent expression of gratitude. Kindly hand me the salt if you would be so generous. By dinner, the atmosphere was laden with an almost palpable tension, heavy enough to suffocate. You're punishing me, he finally said. He slid his plate aside. What am I safeguarding us from? From this point onwards. My voice faltered. The glances we would receive if they were aware. From the shame that will consume us if we allow this to persist. His jaw clenched. I hold no shame. You shall be. That night, I could hear him pacing restlessly within his room. The floorboards groaned beneath his steps. Every footfall reverberates through the fragile barriers. And then silence fell. The door clicked open with a soft, definitive sound. The bed was bathed in the soft glow of moonlight as he lingered in the doorway. His bare chest heaved rapidly, rising and falling with each breath. "I cannot feign," he spoke in a rough voice. "Not alongside you." My determination shattered, for I too was unable to withstand it. Silence enveloped us as he traversed the room. There was no necessity for that. Each caress, each fleeting gaze, each ragged breath conveyed what words could never express. This marked our downfall, and we plunged in without hesitation. A year has passed, yet the neighbors continue to remark on the closeness we share. "What a devoted son, Mrs. Acklaway," remarks as she peruses the aisles of the grocery store, consistently showing remarkable devotion to his mother. I offer a courteous smile. Hefting the bracelet he bestowed upon me, I made a subtle adjustment, a symbol of our enduring connection as family rests upon my left hand. The individual whose choices remain unexamined, for the narrative suggests that single mothers seldom find new partners. Is that so? As we stroll towards the car, Jay's fingers intertwine with mine. No one gives it a second glance. No one possesses the answer. And that is precisely how we prefer it.